Welcome. Another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. I'm recording this on a Saturday, a weekend, a little bit of extra peace perhaps, unless you've been in turmoil. It could be political turmoil, it could be weather turmoil. Hopefully today will help soothe some of that. As we talk about the idea of Samatvam, we're rejoining our key topic of this whole year's program, which is equanimity, the ability to be yourself no matter what situation arises. So, in times of tragedy, we often see people's true character. We try to put on such a good face for others, and when stress happens, then often that mask drops and who we are is revealed, and that can cause some people joy and renown and even fame, renowned as heroes. It can cause some people shame. And we're going to look at part of this idea in today's verses. So if you have any of your Song of Your Soul books, we'll be doing chapter 10, which I love the title of this, The Yoga of the Fragments of the Divine Glories. And we'll be doing verses 4 and 5. And part of the reason for the title is Arjun really wants to know who Krishna is. Arjun represents our limited self, and Krishna representing our timeless, eternal self. And Arjun really wants to know who and what Krishna is, but language is so inadequate for getting to know anybody, actually. And Krishna is trying to use that language. And this may help us with our idea of Samatvam as we look at verses 4 and 5, and I'll chant them for you. Remember, my translation is in the original Sanskrit meter. That way you're actually hearing the poetic rhythm of these, in my opinion, beautiful verses. Krishna is saying to Arjun, intuition, wisdom, clear thought, forgiveness, truth, self-restraint, peace, unease, ease, birth, passing away, fear, and also the lack of fear, harmlessness, balance, contentment, effort, giving, fame, infamy. All these diverse traits of beings arise from me and me alone. Krishna is considered by many to be a divine avatar, an embodiment of the Supreme. And so it seems to make sense that we talk about, oh yes, I'm talking about myself as the Supreme. I am intuition, wisdom, clear thought. I'm all these good things, forgiveness and truth and peace. But then also then slips in a couple of opposites. Unease and ease, fear and also the lack of fear. We could even, say fearlessness, fear and fearless, cowardice and fearlessness, fame, infamy. Oh, what Krishna is trying to portray to Arjuna in a gentle way is, I am the things that you would consider good, but I may also be some things that you would label bad. These qualities come from me, the divine. But the labeling of whether they're good or bad comes from the small m me, like the ego, the limited self. So for example, if we see somebody who's being what we would consider cowardly, that's the divine in action. Running away from something is a survival instinct. It comes from a very deep place. Although some might say, well, if the divine is timeless, then why would it want to run away? Well, if the divine is timeless, why would it want to really do anything? Why would it want to run toward and help? Why would it? I mean, I think Krishna is trying to convey this idea: if I'm everything, then, you know, everything is within my purview. Earlier in the Gita, he says, or no, some point in the Gita, I forget, earlier or later, he'll also say he's the drive to cheat people in con artists. What Krishna represents, since we've been talking about children, is this really innocent state which children are born with. Children are born in cultures, in families, in situations, and they don't know what's right or wrong. It's just whatever they're in is life. And then as we get older, we start to learn and to label. Oh, wait, this is a toxic family. I was actually in a good family. I'm in a government that is not helpful. I'm in a great government. My country is fabulous. My country stinks. I don't even know what a country is as a child. This reminds me of, in Genesis, the idea of eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Up until then, Adam and Eve were portrayed as innocent, like everything was good to them, everything was God to them. But then they got this knowledge of good and evil, and they started to label things good and bad, including themselves. And from one point of view, you could say they kicked themselves out because they're like, wait, we're bad, we're shameful, we're covering ourselves up, we're out. There's no universal acceptance of God, the supreme, the divine, the universe as it is, the cosmos, the physical reality, the material world. There's no more acceptance of that. There's no more acceptance of us as we are. There's this labeling, good or bad. And Krishna is saying, hey, all these qualities come from me. It's you that labels them good or bad. Because for many of us, some of the qualities we label as bad can be expedient. Little white lies. We talk about harmless white lies, victimless crimes. That's one thing to consider with children is they often don't know. We don't know that something's good or bad until we're taught that it's good or bad. And we embrace that teaching. And part of the idea of becoming equanimous is, can we return to this state of everything is just great? Everything's fabulous. When I grew up, the world was great. And everybody says this. When I grew up, the world was one way, and now I'm getting older and it's falling apart. No. The world is the world. It's our ability to label and categorize the world. And one more thing, Krishna is saying this because he knows Arjun will turn a blind eye to what he doesn't want to see. And we can see this a lot in political situations or in weather situations with the warnings. We'll take in what we want to about our candidate or about what we think the weather is going to be, and we tend to ignore the rest. It should be safe enough to stay here even though I'm being warned not to, for example. Or, I've heard excessive warnings before, and I know I've seen this before. What do we get sucked into? The idea is, can we trust ourselves? Can we trust what we know deep in our heart, despite the outer labeling, the outer judgment of others, the world, our own limited selves? That's toughy. I'm dedicating today's practice to all those we judge without really knowing them. As humans, we are built to instantly judge someone we see based on their appearance, how they dress, how they talk, how they hold themselves. And then saying, about making a good first impression. There's no second chance to make a first impression. That first impression sticks with us. And I'm really thinking about it because the baseball team here in Cleveland is playing a baseball team renowned for cheating. And as I'm often reminded, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know really what was going on, but there is a tendency, and I will admit to that, to judge. But it's baseball. It's all good. The world is good. You are good. Recognizing that is equanimity. You are good all the time, no matter what. Good with a capital G. Here we go. Whatever way you do your practice today is going to be good. Ooh, flea bane. Switch sides. Your practice was what it was. Did you label it good or bad? Now we have contemplation. 5 minutes reflecting on how we do judge and label the world instead of accepting it. Think of yourself, how you judge and label yourself without accepting yourself for exactly who you are and what that does to you. Mm. Welcome back. Perhaps you encountered your own pairs of opposites today. I have to get going because we're having a healing meditation in just a little bit. The healing is not just about physical healing, but healing this natural urge to judge ourselves good or bad and the damage that causes. And there's still time for you to join. See the link below. I believe it should take you to the workshops page. Sign up there, get a link. And if I see you, great. And if I don't, I'll be chanting for you during the healing meditation. Until I see you again.